Hi everyone, this is your host Vijay. So today I'm just to continuing the part two of the Hyperfabric lab. So if you want to know that what is a Hyperfabric, Nexus Hyperfabric is and what's the use cases of it, please visit the part one of the Hyperfabric. So in this scenario, we are going to discuss the Hyperfabric lab in Twin, where I'm going to do the discovery of the Hyperfabric and going to logging the Hyperfabric cloud controller. Then I'm going to claim my Cisco Nexus 6000 hardware. I'm going to review the billing of material. We're then going to provide the connectivity between the leaf switches, going to create the VRF, VNIs, BGP routing part, and so on. So let's understand that Hyperfabric. So as I said, this is the new solution which Cisco has enhanced Fabric as a solution for data center offering, where you just purchase a subscription of the Hyperfabric, which is a I would not say the Nexus dashboard, but it is the more or less Nexus dashboard, but with the native VXLAN support. So suppose if you're having a plan to not use ACI, not to use Nexus, you can go with the new solution which Cisco offers, the Cisco Nexus 6000. It has its own advantage and use cases where you can, it's the cloud-based managed platform which pretty much suitable for the, nowadays, the microservice-based applications and the VXLAN-based fabric. So it has multiple use cases. It is easy to use, and it is a cloud-labeled automation, and also it's kind of work as kind of as a services solution. So it's a SASE kind of solution where you just purchase the endpoint and don't worry about the controllers and uh, the management part of the switches. It will be self-managed by the Cisco portal where you have to take the subscription of it. Okay. So in this lab, this is the topology I have where I have a Nexus 6000 series. We have a 6100 as a leaf switches. I have a two leaf switch which is managed by the Cisco Fabric controller, which is reachable, which has a management IP, and these switches are reachable to the my hyperfabric.cisco.com. Okay, so the moment you get these switches, you need to first thing is get the console access of the switches. Okay, since I do not have a console access of the switches, so I cannot show that how the console looks like. However, I do have a Hyperfabric console where I can show this what exactly it looks like, how it should be configuring. So I have a scenario where I have Nexus, plain Nexus and XOS, and which is acting as a spine switch. And these are the two leaf switches where I have two interface connecting to each other, which is we call the fabric connection. And I have two EXXI which are connecting to my the leaf switches, which is your Nexus 6000. Okay. So this is the scenario. So Hyperfabric is one of the cloud-based fabric solution where you can create your organization, for example, XYZ, organization 1, 2, 3, and under the one organization support, if you have 10 multiple branch offices and sites, you can manage those sites and branch offices from central interface. So it's a more or less Nexus dashboard kind of. Okay. So if you see that this is a good use cases for a small and remote data center fabric. Okay, this is the model number. It can support the multiple, topology type, full mesh topology, spineless connectivity. It can support like it can have a three fabric nodes where it can provide this much throughput. This is this advantage this hardware has is it has a 400 gig supports which can onboard your and uh, the modern application which is like your AI, ML, LLM, this kind of sort of which require ultra low latency is higher throughput. Okay. So these are the types of the topology it does support. And for now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have a leaf and spine architecture where I'm using the this architecture. You can see that two leaf fabric. Okay, where I have a Nexus devices which are non-managed by the cloud fabric. Okay, so I'm going to just manage the leaf switches And on top of the leaf switches, I have a spine switches, and that is spine switch known as a uh, uh, the uh, the hyperfabric. Okay, so this is the hyperfabric cloud URLs where you can reach. Okay, the moment you try to connect your console of the device, it will, so your console of the device require the management IP address. By default, these switches have a the management set as a DSCP. Okay, if you do not have DSCP, you can manually console these devices and access it. By default, these devices, the moment you will try to configure the IP address, which is this is the console of the device. Is unlike the your Nexus on other platform where it can give you the command line. This is the, if you remember, the Cisco UCS server, Cisco UCS server CIMC interface. This is a more or less same kind of interface where you have a few options changing the configuration, all these things. So first thing is changing the configuration. You can check here if your DSCP is by default, DSCP is enabled for IPv6. If by default is enabled, then well and good, you will get that all the details from DSCP server. If your DSCP servers is not available or your these switches need a manual IP address, then you can configure these switches manually. The moment you will configure these switches manually, what it's going to do here is it will try to register itself to this particular site. So make sure that from this hardware, this URL is, whether it's via the proxy, whether it was by direct, should be able to access hyperfabric.cisco.com. Okay. Once it is once communication is established or connected, then the hyperfabric will give you the one claim code. So you make sure that this claim code is important. Without claim code also you can register these devices, but there's one of the way to register your devices. So let me log in the devices since I have a two Nexus platform. Okay, so I'm going to create my username first, and this username, make sure that you are part of the your username is must be part of the Cisco database. If Cisco database is not updated with your username, then you will not be able to log into the hyperfabric. Okay, so I have a hyperfabric. Let me log into this. vCenter also, where I have EXXI. If you remember that I have a two EXXI connected to these leaf switches. And let me try to log in. Even I have this IP. Okay, I will not be able to log in, I think. Anyways, let me log in through my mail ID, which I have. So Cisco will authorize your credential. This is the lab, so I can log in whatever I have. So Cisco will authorize your username and the domain name to log in these boxes. If you do not have that, Cisco does not authorize by default to log. Anyone can log in onto the all the checks and configuration. So Cisco will protect your credentials. So the moment you will log in first time of the Cisco AC, the Hyper Fabric, this is the page you're gonna get. Okay. So if you the top left side, if you see that I have organization, I have fabric, inventory, subscription. If I click on the subscription, so if you see that, so whatever Cisco will provide you the subscription, you're gonna get subscription, and where you have all the license will be listed over, whether you have premium license, essential license. If you have essential, how many devices included to it. Okay, so if I click on the inventory, if you see that in the inventory I have a few boxes over here. If I click here, and if you see that the organization I have a three: sudo London, then administration. So I will read right, and I will just let me delete it. So I do not have any new organization. Okay. So if you see that I have the very first time you will log in to your organization, you will see that two unknown devices, because I have a two leaf switches and they are trying to reach to the hyperfabric.cisco.com. All right. So you will get this one, but in your organization you might not get discovery. But if you get that, that's well and good. Okay. Once you get here, you will first click on the organization. You will go to the I need to have a read write access. So you can create it your organization. Since I have logged into the London site, I have a London. You can create from scratch also. Okay. You can create it from here based on you want. But as of now, I don't want to have administrator control. I want to have read write organization where I will create my fabric. I will say that this fabric name I'm going to give here is, just give me a second, new fabric. Then I will click here switches with tier 1 switch, tier 2 switches. Just give me a second, guys. Let me fix this lab. So if you see that here, if I go into the inventory, I have this model number. Okay, so whenever I will going to create the new fabric design for us, I will need to create this model number. So I will say that add the new fabric. You can create it from template also. Okay, so if you see that you have a 2 leaf, 2 spine template, I have 4 leaf, 32 spine template. So there are multiple templates you have. The moment you will create it from blueprint, it will give you the set of design. If you see that I have a 2 leaf template also, the full mesh design. I will select that. I can use this also, or if you don't want, I can use the normal configuration also. So if you see that here, I have this template. I'm saying that I'm going to use a 2 hardware, and the name I can give anything like name I can give. Uh, So if I go to here in my lab, okay, and in the lab, I can give the name to, for example, or rather than creating from the template, you can just create the normal fabric also, new fabric. In the new fabric, I can give this hardware model number, okay, add a new. Just want to have a two set of pair, just want to say that two, okay. I want to have a two switches, okay. And the hardware name I can give, for example, HF 6160 L4D. All right. Then PDU size, anything I can give. This is a quarterly. Anything is fine. Then I will say that why it is switches. If I say so, manual override. Not right now. I'm just simply say that something is wrong with this lab. Just hang on a second, guys. Let me fix this. I think I did create it last time something, and that is pending over here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create with the template because you do not need to create by template. Okay. But for now, I'm just going to create with the template and let's see what option it comes. So I have two boxes. This is fine. Save as a blueprint. I'm just going to save this as a fabric. Continue with the topology. Okay. So these are the two leaves I have. Okay. And this is the name by default it is taking. What I'm going to do here is next here is uh, I'm going to bind these switches into the switches which I am get I'm by default getting discovery. So if you see that bomb calculation, these are the two switches I have, and these are the even if you can export this file, CSV file also, if you like to. Okay, to check that what options, what topology you want to build, and what actual requirement you're gonna have here. Okay, you can get the details of even assembly list, what model number you have, what fan, what is needed, what is not needed, how many quantity is needed. So bomb preparation is also, it can be done through this one also. Log viewer is also there. Software management is also there. For as of now, click on the summary. I will click on the edit fabric. In the edit fabric, I'm going to give leaf switches. The group name. What I'm going to do here, something is not making sense to me. All right, here we go. Sorry, my bad. What it was showing here is I enable that new interface. So it was giving a lot of options. So the moment you will go to fabric mode, it will give the simple dashboard for you. So I will just delete and create the without template for us. Okay, because I don't want to have, you can use a template also, but as of now, there is two options. There is no bad template in the classical Ethernet. Okay, so I will going to give here is fabric one or data center one, whatever you want to give it. It's up to you how you want to define your things. I will description I can give here is production fabric 01. Okay. Location you can give here is London. Okay. Location say LD5, for example. So if you see that here, this is saying that maximum in this statically, maximum you can have a 4 spine switches and 32 leaf switches. As of now, I don't want to have any spine because spine acting as a for me is my 9300 box is acting as a spine switch for me. So let me put the topology here. So make sure that we do not get confused what exactly we want to do and achieve here. So where is topology? Yeah. So let me snip it. Okay. So this is the physical topology I have. Okay. Where I have a two spine, which is acting as a my 9300 box. I'm not going to control those boxes. Those boxes need to be done manually. I'm just going to control the two leaf switches via my box. Okay. Then what I'm going to do here is this is the model I have, how many switches I have. This model I have power intake side. So this is the model number. This is the air flow control I have. Then I will say the skip cabling now for now. Just configure the fabric. Okay. Once you done this configuration, click on the fabric. Okay. Then you will see that, okay, I think I did not mention two or just mention one. Just give me a second. I think I did something wrong. I think device count must be more than one. It should be two. Yeah, it should be two. Two leaf switches. Then I have two leaf switches. When I click here, you will see that here these are the two by default host name which is getting. You can change it also based on your convenient. But if I click on the leaf one, click on that, you will see that this option will be coming. Here, right side, you have edit option. In the edit option, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to configure the few parameter. Okay. I'm going to edit this option. I will say that location is row A rack 1 RU number 40. This is my rack placement I have. Okay, for me. You can give the, sorry, it's a bit complicated. So for the first time when you log in this page, okay, I will say edit. That's fine. So once you have this detail, you do not have to worry about it. You can just say that what exactly annotation you want to call leaf LF001 you want to call, or you want to call something else. In the description, this is the host name. You can change to anything. But as of now, I'm just going to keep it default. I don't this is the MAC address of the box. I will bind this switch. Bind to what? I have two switches which are being discovered, and these are the two things. Whether you want to use from blueprint, which gonna get the IP address from DSCP, or you want to use a configuration which we already have in this device. So I want to use a configuration on IP address same which we have in the box. I don't want to configure anything new. Whatever I have, I just want to integrate that switch and control by the controller. Then once this is done, what I have to do here is same thing we have to do for the leaf switch 2 also. Okay. I will just simply say the back and leaf 2. Click on here, edit. Address you can give here, like for example, anything you can give. Um, uh, row 1, rack 1, RU39, for example. This is very important. It's not mandatory, but it is important to specify things based on what thing. I will bind with the leaf switch 2, which I have without template. Bind it. Then what I'm going to do here is back. I will save and push the configuration. Review. This is the configuration I'm going to push. Then push the configuration. You can give anything like, for example, bootstrap and integration task. You can give anything. Okay. So you just make sure that you remember that what exactly was done in last change, or change number you can give it over there. Okay. Once this is done, this is the host name. It is given, and this is description. Right. So once it is done, what I have to do here is, if you click on the inventory event viewer, you will see that what exactly has been done, who done what. So I have pushed the configuration bootstrap. This is the command drop that. So you can keep the all the logs and event logs, everything based on your requirement. Okay. The moment these switches will be up, it will be showing status over here. It take few minutes. It depends on the what's the latency you have between this cloud hyperfabric cisco.com to your switch, which you have in the data center. Okay. Then what I have to do here is, second thing is, between the switches, you can calculate even BOM also, billing of material also. If I say deployment, this is the billing of material I have. This is the model number deployed, and these are the detail of it. Okay, you can even request the estimate also. So Cisco give you the plan saying that you can just log in the Hyperfabric, design your what you want, and based on that you can create your own estimate and send to Cisco sales team to for the purchase for it. Okay, which is good option, right? You can print it also. You can not do a lot of easy things from here. I will go to the issue. It is saying that it's showing a red, so it might be rebooting your boxes. So as a assertion, there is a two critical issues which found, and eventually there are known issues which has found, but that's it's not to worry about that. After a few minutes, it will settle down everything. I will click here. Then I have a requirement. The requirement is I have this connectivity requirement, where I need to connect the leaf 1 to leaf 2, port number 31, 32 to each other. And this port eventually will be acting as a the stacking port for us. Okay. And that will be helping us, whatever I'm going to create on the leaf 1, it should be replicating to the leaf 2, extending to here. If you see that I'm going to create two VRF. I'm going to create a two multiple, VNIs for VXLAN, and they will all talk to over the fabric connection. This we call that fabric connectivity of the switch between the switches. Okay, so this is what I'm going to achieve. I'm going to create it here. So very first thing is what I'm going to do here is I'm going to provide the connectivity details. If you see that these are the 31, 32 ports. So I'm going to tell these switches, tell my Hyperfabric, which is deployed here somewhere, okay, in the cloud, and it is talking to here directly, Hyperfabric. And I will tell this Hyperfabric, you have a two connectivity, the switches having two connectivity, and that is for the fabric port type. It means they are the port type as a fabric. And what the cable type they are using it, that I have to also specify to them. So I will get to the fabric connectivity, in not port fabric connectivity. So if you want to do anything, you have to just do the edit the configuration. Then you have to say that fabric connection. Then I will click on the auto cabling. Okay. In the auto cabling, what I'm going to mention here is I'm going to order the two cables because I have a two cabling connection. So I will say the QDD400, which is I have, you need to know that model number of the cable which you have between the two switches. Okay. This is the DAC cable, 400 gig. These are the two ports are connecting to my switches. Okay, simple. If I save which port I have. Okay, so these two types of cables I have. Okay, but by default it is taking as a 31, 32, 30 and 31 ports, which I feel like something is fishy. It should be 31, 32 by default. So by default, whatever connection you have, okay, if switch is detecting 30 and 31, you have a DAC cable, it will by default detect the port details. Okay, if switch is not detecting the right port, the moment you will see that I have a two DAC cable of this model number, it will automatically say that okay, this model number and this particular DAC cable, it is connecting to these two ports between the switches. Okay, which is fine. You don't have to worry about it. My topology might be wrong. Then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to so every time you do the changes, you can even push the change, or you can do the all the configuration in the bulk. Then you try to push the configuration. Then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create the VRF on these switches. Okay, what VRF? VRF1, VRF2, two VRF I'm going to create. And this VRF, I'm going to assign the couple of VNIs, VXLAN ID. So if you see the right side, I have router configuration. I will add the route. I will say that one, add two. You can give the different name also, but I'm just going to say that one and two. Then what I'm going to do is I will just push the configuration for this. I will say that config VRF fabric ports. Okay, done. If we'll click here on the VRF, I should have a two VRF now. Okay. Then what next need to be done here is the topology which I'm going to establish here is, let me snip it again. So I do not need to show you again and again. Yeah, this is the topology I'm going to have. Where I have created the two VRF on both the switches. I am going to create the network. I'm going to create the network. And you do not need to get the VXLAN ID. It will automatically map to your VXLAN ID the moment you will create the one network. And I will allocate the certain IP address for those network. Okay. I will get the four network, two network in each VRF. And they will have a separate IP, and they will act as a gateways because I have one EXXI connected here. So what I'm going to do here is I will go to the network VNI. Before that, I will just edit the configuration. I will add the logical network. In the logical network, I will say that um, I want to give here, for example, VRF1 uh, network 1. So basically, this is the configuration I'm going to do. Let me paste in the chat in my notepad. This is the configuration I'm going to do. Okay. VRF1, this one means VRF1, this one, and VRF2, these two network. Okay. On VRF1, what network type? 172.16.0.1/24. Okay, this is the network I'm going to create. You can keep the even notes also what purpose you want to create it. VNI, you can create it VNI, what VNI you want to give for this network. But as of now, I'm just keeping the auto generate mode. So let it generate it by default for you. VM VRF1 net2 on VRF1. Why it is keep opening this? I will set that 172. 1.1/24. Then I'm going to give here VM net1 VRF2 172.16.2.1/24. Then these, if you see that they are generating the VXLAN ID for us. Even I'm going to give here VRF2 VNet2 VRF2. I will say the 172.16.3.1/24. So this is all the network I have created. Okay. Then second thing is what I'm going to do here is I'm going to establish the BGP neighborship between where? Between the so before giving the BGP neighborship, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to establish the I have a leaf where I have a port number 1 and 2. 1 and 2 port is going to connect the EXXI. So this is the topology I have. Okay, this is the topology. 1/60 port 64 is going towards the Nexus 9300 on the both the switches. 9300, where I'm going to run the eBGP routing. Here I have a EXXI host which are connecting like this. So this port must be the host port. Host port is what? Is equivalent to the trunk port or access port of it. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the port and convert these two ports into the host port, and 64 ports, which is the this port is a routed port because I'm going to create the routing towards that. So I will click on the port membership. These are the ports which I have. I will select that uh, one port on the leaf 1 1/1 2 1/2. Edit the port role, host port. Spanning tree will be running on them. Okay, done. On the same thing on the leaf 2 also. Leaf 2 port number 1, port number 2. If you see the unused, it is showing over here. I will configure as a host port. And these are the four ports total going to be leaf 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then I will configure the 64 port as a routed port on the both the switches. Why? Because this is the requirement of it, going towards the uplink of devices. Let me give you the broad picture what I have. It will give you the better view of it. Okay, this is the picture of the end-to-end network. So basically, I'm configuring the 64 ports going towards the spine switches here, which will have a two VLAN, one for the VRF1, one for the VRF2, 20, two VLAN 20. Two neighborship BGP neighborship will be forming to each other. Okay, and they will also have a BGP IBGP neighborship. Here, these are the two ports where I'm going to have a host port, which will be using these VLAN as a gateway on this server, so they can talk to each other. Okay, 64 ports I'm going to convert into the routed port. I don't want to have MAC address anything for now, just routed port. Once this is done, I will push the configuration. You can push all the configuration single go, but I will just keep changing few things and pushing the configuration for the make sure the configuration is saved and not messed up. Port role change. Okay, then if we click here, port connectivity, you will see that the port must be showing as a oh I did wrong. Just give me a second. I think I selected everything as a this must be the host port, not the right. leaf 2, 1 to host port. All right. I will push the configuration, host port. Okay. Then I will convert one port as a, now it is showing host 64 port on the both the switches. Okay, which is already routed, which is good, 10 gig interface. If you see that 1/1 interface, also it should be 10 gig. Okay. I have a 30 and 31, 32 ports. These three ports are 40 gig ports. Two ports are the 400 gig ports, not the 40 gig. Okay, this is done. Now, what next need to be done here is I need to create the BGP neighborship. BGP neighborship for the each VRF. I have a two VRF, VRF1, VRF2. So what I am planning to do here is I'm going to create the VLAN 10 for VRF1, VLAN 20 for VRF2, VLAN 10, VLAN 20. So total I am going to have a four neighborship, two from each switches, to each switches here for high availability. So what I'm going to do here is let me go to the VRF and create the sub interfaces of it. Okay, I will go to the VRF and then I will create the sub interface of it. No, no, not VRF, sorry. On the port, I will go. I will search the 64 here. Before this, edit the switch configuration. 64 port, switch number 1. I'm going to say that, not going to select anything. Enable the tagging because I'm going to get a sub interface. VLAN 10 I'm going to give here is I'm going to create VRF number 1. IP will be for this sub interface is 68.200.6/30. You can change the MTU and all these things. State is up. I'm just going to keep it. Okay. Same. I'm going to give another interface, which is a VLAN 20 sub interface on the VRF, this one, on this interface. 192.168.200.14/30. So this is the IP I have here. Okay. Here, this IP and this IP. So I'm just keeping here. Sorry, my mistake. This is the VRF2, not VRF1. On the switch number 1, on the interface, this is the VRF going towards the 10. This is the 20 for VRF2. Okay. Same thing I'm going to do on the 64 of the leaf switch 2. Okay. On the leaf switch 2, edit. I will say that enable the sub interface option. VLAN 10, VRF number 1, 192.168.200.10/30. I will give another interface, VLAN 20, VRF number 2, 192.168.200.80/30. This is the IP, 10 and 18. And other side is 17 and 9 and 13 and 5. Okay. Then once you've done this, I can go and create the BGP now. Okay. I can go and enable the BGP between the switch devices. Go to the VRF because this is the VRF label BGP. VRF number 1, I will go and I will say that BGP pairing AS number, local AS number 60. I can give here 65, for example, any random 65, not random 201 because other site is also BGP configured. BGP pairing configuration from routed interface done. The peer IP, a peer name, I'm going to say that VRF 1, which I have VRF 1 L3 out switch 1, VRF 2 L3 out switch 1. Okay. Uh, VRF1 L3 out switch 1 because this is going towards the switch 1. Peer IP is dot 5 because this is the dot 5 I have for VLAN 10. Then I will go for this one dot 13 I have. VRF2 L3 out switch 1. EBGP I'm going to select, multi-hop I'm going to select, and AS number I'm going to select is 65200, which is on the Nexus switch side. This is the local, which is fine. You can select it. You can create the import export policy. But as of now, I'm just keeping it default. It means saying that import everything, export everything. As of now, I'm just not keeping anything which should block your network. Okay. 65201. And VRF1 L3 out switch 1. What? Okay, saying that there is no. Okay, hang on a second. Something is. So what we have to do here is whatever sub interface we have created, we have to push first. Then it will be visible for BGP configuration. Sub interfaces. Okay. Then I can go and create the BGP routed because interface was not pushed. BGP pairing. This done. I will edit this configuration. Push the BGP. The moment I will give the IP address, it will should detect the interface. This one 5. There's no interface which is wrong. Just give me a second. Routed sub interface. Fourteen. There is no 14 IP. Okay, 14 and 6. So 14 dot this IP is I have given wrong, I think, this IP. So let me fix that IP address first. Okay. The port I have, I will go for the 64. I think I've created wrong. Here I have created 2. This should be VRF1, not VRF2. That's the reason. And this should be VRF2. My mistake. I've created wrong. That's the reason it is. It was not showing visible interface. VRF1, VRF2. This is right. So I will reboot the configuration, push the configuration. Okay. Then I will go to the router VRF1, edit the switch. BGP, you can do the static route VRF label or anything from here also. Then I will say that VRF1, this, look here, it is saying that this IP, peer IP, fall under this particular interface range. So EBGP 65200 and local AS is already there, multi-hop and add. I will create another peering, which is for the VLAN 20. Okay, on the same leaf. VRF2 leaf switch 1. Okay, IP I'm going to give here is which IP I should be giving? 13. 13. EBGP, but 13. Are you sure? Uh, ah, okay, switch 2, not switch 1. Yeah, switch 2, because if you see that here on the VRF number A, sometimes it's confusing. So this is the VRF number 64. We have 10, okay, dot 10. 6, 5 are selected. Now for this one, I'm going to say that dot 9. Then it will go for the 10 because it is, I'm configuring under the VRF1, not VRF2. So this will not come. Okay. So I will go here and I will say that VRF1 leave switch 2. and IP is 9.10 is coming switch to. EBGP AS number is same. Done. The VRF, this is done for the VRF 1. VRF 1 BGP. I will go and do for the same thing for the BGP on the VRF number 2. VRF 2, edit the switch. BGP local AS number is 65201. It's the same. Add the BGP subinterface. This is for the VRF2 switch number 1. IP is 13. This is for VLAN 20 peering. Okay. 65-200 multi-hop. Same thing for the this interface. So should be 17 now. Switch number 2, VRF2 switch number 2. 17. Done. EBGP 65-200. And that's it. I will push the configuration. This is the BGP, plain BGP configuration. I'm not advertising anything or not doing anything. VRF2. Now, if we say that BGP neighborship, it should form BGP neighborship. If you see that here, option is BGP. Here it is saying that already established for the VRF1. VRF2, which VLAN 20, should be already in progress to establish. It will take some time to establish and it will do that. 513. Switch number 1. Yeah, it is done now. You will see that I have a 4 BGP neighborship with the 1. The reason is this Nexus device is already been configured BGP. So I will show that what configuration it has. Okay, what next need to be done here is I will map VNIs into the logical host. The topology will change here. So this is the topology I'm going to give, new topology. This is the new topology. Okay. I am going to assign VLAN 101 for the VNet 1, 102 for the VNet 2, 201 to the VNet 1, VRF2. This is the VRF1. And these other have a 4 hosts which are sitting over here with the management link. Okay. So these hosts must be reachable to this gateway. Also, they should be able to talk to the outside. So first thing is I'm going to do here is I will create the VLAN membership for VNIs. Because these are the VNI created, I will associate with the VLAN now. This is the VXLAN based fabric I'm configuring, okay? I will create the VLAN membership. In the VLAN membership, first edit this more, add the switch. I will say that which VNIC, this VNIC, VRF1, VM1, which is this one. I will allocate this one as a what? As a VLAN 101. Okay, 101. Then I will allocate this to not this one. VRF1, VNet 1, we are VNet 2, 102. 102. This one 201 and 202. This is VRF1, VRF2. It's 2 segments. Okay, and this is the mapping I'm going to do here is for the which port? For these 2 ports. So this port will be trunk. Okay, I will go here leaf number 1. Which port I want to select? Leaf port number 1 and 2. Which tagging? 101. Okay, going to allow. Same thing I'm going to do for the other 2. VNet 2. If 1, 101 and 2, 102. Okay, I'm going to create again for the VNet VRF2. Leaf I have done wrong actually. It should be both leaf switches, not just one. So let me delete this because this is the trunk port. right? So on the both the leaf switches, I should be allowed that because it is stretch network. So I cannot just say that one switch, otherwise it will be single home scenario. So I will not be able to fail over test anything. So I will click here. I will say that this network, I have both the leaf switches on which port? Leaf 1 and 2. Port 1 and 2. 101. Tagged. Okay. I will do the same thing, even you can do the manually also. It's the same thing. 1 and 2. I will go to the 1 and 2. 102. Both the leaf switches will have all the VLANs, but with the specific mapping. 1 and 2. Port number 1 and 2. 201. Okay. Same thing. We need this. Mapping is important here because that's what matters to us. Which VLAN VNI mapping has been done. You will see that this is the VNI and this is the VLAN mapping for all this. Look here till last. So VLAN to VNI mapping is done. I will save the configuration and push the VNI to VLAN. Then, so the beauty of is you do not have to wait long to do this configuration and all these things. You can do what configuration has been done, what changes have been done. You see that this is the 4 changes I have done this timing. This time I have done this many changes. See here, these are all the details you can find out from here. Even plus 1 on day, 1 week, all these timer based things, right? This is the done part. Now, second thing is what I'm going to do here is uh, I have done the mapping. I have done everything. Uh, I can see that what exactly if there is any issue, assertion issue. I don't see any major or minor issues. Everything has been resolved. So we do not have to worry about anything. Okay. Even you can check the port details also, on the device, leaf number 1, and you see that what port it is back plate. This is how it looks like, port details, and this is the status with the what exactly saying that the warning, all these details. You can see the 1/1 detail, and this is the detail of the 1/1. You see here how many packet is going out, going in, coming in, what neighborship it has, LDP neighbor it has, VLAN membership it has. See here, these many membership it has, BGP peer is how many it has, all the details. All the details you can check from here, which is very much cool compared to the traditional way of doing it. Okay. Now I have end-to-end design ready with me, which is um, we wanted to have it, right? What I'm going to do here is I'm logging to the VM and try to ping the gateway. Okay. So I have a VM which are sitting over here. 101, 102, 201, 202, all these. And I have a two interface of them. They have one interface to management, okay, all the VMs. They have second interface to the fabric, okay. And if I show you this, these are the IP I have for the VM, okay. I have a two interface of the VM. Out of band management, second is a fabric interface. This is a VLAN 101, 102, 201, 202. Okay, this is what we wanted to have. So let me log into this 101 VM and try to ping 0.1, which is the gateway of the our device. Same thing, 0.1.1, 2.1, 3.1. Okay. So let me log into the VM, which I have here. So I have 101. This is the VM I have. Oh, God's sake. Something wrong with this VM. What happened? Let me close this and reopen. Something is wrong with the EXXI host. Why? Just give me a second. I cannot log in. That's the issue. Let me reboot my vCenter. Okay, vCenter. Power on. So let's see if it works fine. Otherwise, what I can do here is, if these VMs are down, at least I should be, they should not be down. Or else, what I can do here is, I can go to the putty. You can see that, what is the VM IP? 170, no, 198.18.135.101. If, okay, spelling the IP is wrong. 198.18.135.101 VLAN. All right, I've got the login. Um, because whatever I've created is a vSphere Unicast gateway IP. Okay, I can do one thing. The username password, I have no idea what it has. Username password is. Let me see that if I can find the username password. Hang on with me, please. So why this VM are not able to connect from here? It's straightforward. Why? You see DSCP1. Hmm. Let's see if I have a demo user. I will say that I will say that demo user. Okay, I will reconnect demo user. Hmm. Restart this. I will say that corp demo user admin. What password it could be? Root. Hmm. It's not let you log in. Just hang on a second, guys. Let me see that how can I fix the, or what I can go here is I can check here what is learning, what is not learning. So if I go to the IP MAC here, I should be seeing that what IP address it is learning. If you see that this is the MAC address of the VMs, local machines. Okay, if I go to the layer 3 switching, these are the things I have, not in the R, but these are the VMs which I am getting as a list of the interfaces. If you see that from these two interfaces, these are the VM which are learning to me. Okay. This is the one way of figuring out, because I don't know why this is not working. No idea. Or let me log into the vCenter. I should be able to log in now. Administration.vcenter.com. I will go to the administrator. Administrator at the rate vsphere dot local. Okay, password is one SEO 12345. So something might be wrong. So we will trigger that and let's see. So sometimes these labs are pretty much on for a long time and they stop recognizing these IPs because these VMs are learning. So which means everything is fine. Cloud connectivity is fine. So Leaf is able to reach to the hyperfabric.com. Certificate is valid. If certificate is not valid, then you have to upload the certificate. Okay. So that matters. By default, self-signed certificate is there for us. If you see the LLDP on this one, what it is connected, see here. So on the port number 64 and 32, which is this one, 31, 32, 64, it's showing that what it is connected. This router interface, and these are this switch. Local port is this, remote host name is this one on the leaf number 2. Okay, leaf 2. Optics, you can see here, length of the cables, everything, which is pretty much straightforward compared to the traditional way of doing things. Okay, just give me a second. Why it is not logging even? Administrator, local. Let's see. It should work though. Yeah, now it's coming. So let's see if I'm able to try to log into the VMs. Right, so saying that network loss. Okay, there is a issue with the EXXIs. That's the reason if I console this, launch the web console, these VMs also seems like are lost. What I can do here is I can restart these VMs, right? Power off, then power on. Power on. So let's see if that launch works fine. The main problem is vSphere ESXi is having a issue, network loss connectivity. And that is a issue. When you do not have network connectivity, if you see that the virtual switches, in the virtual switches, I should have, okay, so these are the interfaces which are having a trouble. Network. VRF 1, 2, 3, 4. Host, okay. C1, SCO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me console this VM from here or remote access. All right, here we go. If config So this is the IP of management. This is the IP of the device. If I try to ping, let's see, 72.16.0.1. That's a gateway. So if you see here, so from the virtual machine, I'm able to reach the gateway of that device. Gateway, which is any class gateway we have in the VXLAN. Okay. From here, I'm able to reach the here. Can I reach to the 102 gateway? Let's see. From the same VM. 1.1. Same VRF? Yes. What about the inter VRF? Can I reach the inter VRF like 2.1? Yes, it is able to reach, but it should not logically because inter VRF we have not enabled anything, right? So inter VRF it should not logically, it should not able to reach. Nexus device I do not have the access. Otherwise, I could have shown you the Nexus. Here, if I see that ping 172.16.0. Sorry, 1.1, which is a gateway, able to reach. Okay. So my VM is able to reach to here. Okay. Without any issue. What next I can do here is, okay. You can verify a few things. You can disable the BGP also and see that if BGP is working fine, everything you can do it. Okay. You can do the even static route. For now, I have been doing the BGP routing. You can do the static route as well, because for that I need to create another scenario where you can keep the uh, inter VLAN within the EXXIs. Also, I can create the DSCP and DSCP relay like I have VMs over here to perform this type of connectivity. Okay, you can check the port traffic also. Like for example, if I go to here, sorry, it's logged out. I don't know why. So if I click here, Fabric one, if I go to the particular uh, leaf device, okay, leaf one, and see you have port number one details. You can capture the port traffic also, not from this way. Port 101. Not this one. I have a monitor option. Just give me a second. Here, inventory, leaf 101. You will see the port traffic. In the port traffic, which port you want? Look here. Port number 31, 32, this much traffic. Port number 1 and 2, this much traffic because it has a connectivity. Okay. And this is the throughput of the devices. This is how the conjunction, if there is any conjunction, anything like that, you can get here all the details from each and every port of it. Okay. If you get statistics, you can get it from here for each port, what you have. If you want to get the routes, what you have routes, look here. This is the routes I am getting. I have a default routes, which is getting injected for this is the VRF1 routing table. If VRF2 routing table, this is the VRF2 routing table I have. Management port, this is the management port of the switches. Port configuration, this is all you're gonna port channel. If there is any, no port channel. Fabric connectivity, this is the port. VLAN membership, this many VLAN. Route table, these are two route VLAN. I have this host, which is also trying to connect to the devices. I do not have a Nexus device. I could have shown you that how the Nexus device looks like. Okay. But if you see here, the Nexus device configuration I have, which is pretty much is uh, like standard Nexus configuration. Okay, nothing special you can have. Let me show you this. So if you see here on the Nexus, I have two devices, Nexus 1, Nexus 2. Okay, in the Nexus 1 and 2, if you see the Nexus 1, this is the switch configuration. Access list I have VRF, which is VRF is locally significant, so it doesn't matter. If you see that I have VLAN 10, VLAN 20. These are the IP. Okay, look here. And I have like These are the for something different reasons. But if you say that this is the BGP configuration I have, it's not much difference if you see that here. This is a pure layer 3 we are configuring. We do not have internet access via this Nexus as of now, but in the next scenario, I'm going to configure the DSCP as well as the other task where I'm going to configure the DSCP inter VLAN routing, inter VRF routing. Okay, because inter VRF routing is required. I'm going to configure the static route also, where I'm going to configure this scenario. Okay, I'm gonna have a EXXI. I have already 1000, 8000. I'm going to keep it gateway over here. Then I'm going to do the basic static routing for that. How traffic should be forwarding, how should work, everything like that. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you in next session with the same content. Hopefully you will like this video. Uh, I would suggest you that please do practice. Without practice, you will not be able to understand these the software defined interfaces. Right. Thanks for watching. See you in next session.